I've never watched Games of Thrones. Yeah, I know. Alright, I just finished to watch the whole Games of Thrones series. So let me tell you the whole context of this video. We are in 2021 and I never watched Games of Thrones, so I'm really late. And how was it for me during all those years to not watch Games of Thrones? Nothing. I mean, I didn't feel nothing. It's just that everybody was talking about Games of Thrones and I was like, okay, alright, it seems that it's like Lord of the Rings or stuff like this. It's just a copy of it and I'm not that interested in it. But finally, one day with my wife, we talked about it and this is what happened. Aurelia, I got a secret to tell you. I've never watched Games of Thrones.
What? You've never watched Game of Thrones? You are lucky you can watch all the episodes now.
So I decided to watch the whole Games of Thrones series, and which was cool is that I didn't have to wait for it because all the episodes were available directly because the series is finished. And which was cool is that I didn't have to wait for seasons. I could watch all episodes next to each other. So every night during 2 months, I was watching Games of Thrones episodes. So watch the whole series at once in 2021. I think it's a different experience than watching it during all those years and waiting for season, waiting a year for a season. What a torture. So now I have to launch a spoiler alert. Because I'm going to talk about the whole series, the character, what's happening, etc, etc. So, spoiler alert! At first, the first season is not that great. I wasn't really into the mood of following the stories of characters and stuff. Who is that dwarf? What's that world? How does it work? I don't understand. It's not that easy to enter in Games of Thrones. What is crazy about this series? It's that the characters are dying so fast. Come on, the guy just arrived and he dies now. This character is so great and you kill him now. You cut his head. So after the first season, you're like, okay, everything can happen in this series. I never watched that before. It's just crazy. What's gonna happen? Another thing that I like a lot about this series, it's that it's cruel. So we see violence all the time, blood everywhere, sex all the time. But I think this is faithful to reality. Yes, Middle Age, it was violence, blood, people dying really early in their life. And the worst moment for me, the craziest moment of the series, in my opinion, this is the death of Robb Stark. Come on, when you watch that episode and at the end they begin to stab the wife of Robb who's pregnant, and then Robb who received those arrows in his body, and you're like, come on, I'm following that guy since 3 weeks, I love him, and you make him die like the real piece of. After the Robb's death, I passed 3 days thinking about it and being very angry, and it was such a big moment, a crazy moment that I rarely lived in another series. The best moment for me in Games of Thrones is the death of King Joffrey. And this was so good, I feel so great when he died. But the character I wanted to die so much was Cersei. Really the character against the goodness, you know. You really want her dead. Hopefully Cersei got her moment in the last season and justice. Also, the death of Daenerys was really unexpected for me. Daenerys wasn't a character that I liked that much. I mean, she's cool, okay? She's got dragons and stuff. And by the way, I really like the designs of the dragons and their aspect and their personality. You really feel something when you see them on the screen. But I wasn't that much into Daenerys. I mean, she was an interesting character, but she was not as interesting as Jon Snow. Jon Snow, for me, it is the best character of the show. I didn't read the books, but the show is so well written, you never lose your time when you watch an episode. Also, another character that I find really cool, this is the Night King. And the Night King, wow, this character was so mysterious, he doesn't talk. I really found that the part of Games of Thrones on the Dead Army and the Night King rising and going to the south to invade the world of living was a very interesting way of introducing a new part of the show. And the last thing is that Games of Thrones made me think that sometimes you can change your mind. And I think about two characters that I didn't like at the beginning of the show, and at the end I was really empathic for them. Those two characters are Brienne de Tarth and Jaime Lannister. So Jaime Lannister is the bastard of the beginning, you know, when he's pushing Bran. At that moment, your point of view on Jaime is that this is going to be the bad guy all along the show. So you see that Jaime Lannister understands that the Lannister dynasty cannot evolve anymore in Westeros. And also for Brienne, she looks at first like a robot woman able to kill everybody. And at the end, you feel more that she's human when she's living a love story with Jaime. So I do not regret at all to watch Games of Thrones. And honestly, I think personally, it has become maybe one of my favorite series. So you know, guys, that I make posters about my favorite series, and this is just the beginning. I'm gonna make all the characters of Games of Thrones, but with Aurelia we decided to create this first pack containing Jon Snow, my favorite character, and you can see here the poster here. So this pack contains Jon Snow, Daenerys and Tyrion, because I think they are the most important character of Games of Thrones. Alright guys, this is the end of this video. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube. We see you in the next video. Ciao!